Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2020 Hyundai Ioniq Electric. Up front is an electric motor. Down below is a single-speed direct drive transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this here Ioniq for a couple of reasons, but mainly the fact that it is, one, an EV, and two, only sold in certain states in America. Back in Illinois, we can't buy these. However, out here in New York, you absolutely can. So you'll have to check your local listings to see if you can find one. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or a big friggin' bottle sticker. You can also read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. And you could submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form. But let's get back to that electric drivetrain. Well, there were 3 different trim levels offered in the Hyundai Ioniq. There was a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and of course the full electric. Now the hybrid was sold pretty much everywhere. You can find that at any Hyundai dealer across the nation. But the electric version, this version, was saved for just a handful of states, much like the Kia EV of a couple of years ago, and it's actually not that uncommon to have EVs restricted to certain states that have the infrastructure to allow them and to have the restrictions required to have these. As you'll notice up on the fenders, it has this weird sticker on it. And I've been driving around Long Island here for the last couple of days, and I keep seeing these stickers on cars. What the heck does that mean? Well, there are something called HOV lanes here, and what that means is that it's a carpool lane. So you have to have 2 or 3 people in the car in order to take those lanes. It's to encourage carpooling. But if you drive an EV or low emission vehicle, they allow you to use those faster lanes on the highway alone without anyone else in the car. So that's what those stickers are. But let's actually get back to the electric motor. It makes 134 horsepower, and right now it's sitting at 99% battery and giving me 181 miles of range. Now that's on the lower side of EVs that I've driven, but this was a less expensive EV, mid 30,000s, and it's really a commuter car. The owner, Ian, which thank you Ian for letting me do this video, he's a photographer. He's not driving across country in this car. He has a different car for that. And so as a commuter car, 181 miles a day, it's rare that anyone drives more than that. So it's fine here in the Ioniq. Like I said, paired to its single speed transmission, nothing to note there. And last but not least, it is front wheel drive. This car was designed to be a hybrid, so you don't get a frunk up front. The electric motor actually sits there and it has a traditional front wheel drive setup, which is kind of interesting. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have some digital gauges, which I love. On the left is charge versus power. So that's basically like my tachometer. When I'm off the accelerator pedal and my regenerative brakes are working, you see it go down into the charge, but when I put my foot into it, it goes up into the power. The center screen is my gauge cluster, and when you switch drive modes, it actually switches colors and stuff too, which Kia has been very, very good about doing, Kia and Hyundai together. So I'm happy to see that it's made it to the Ioniq. Then to the right, I have a little charge bar. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my voice commands, mode, volume, phone options, and skip track. And on the right, I have my page select and my cruise control. So this does have adaptive cruise control, which is really, really fantastic and really, really useful, especially commuting here on Long Island. The overall steering wheel looks nice, but the most important thing about the steering wheel is what's around back. These are paddle shifters, except they don't shift the car. They're actually for the regenerative braking, how much braking you want. So up at level 3, the car will basically brake for you, but it won't come to a complete stop. However, you can make it come to a complete stop by holding down the paddle with your foot off the accelerator pedal, and then it'll bring it all the way down. This is just my hand, and we're stopped. So that was just using my foot off the accelerator and just using the left paddle, which is very, very interesting. Off to the left, I have my dimmer switch, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, traction control, my charger door open, and my charger scheduling. On the door, I have 2 different memory seat options. Then I have auto folding mirrors, which is very nice, and the power mirror adjustments. Then I have my lock and unlock, child locks, and my window switches. Moving into the center, we have some Hyundai infotainment. So let's pull over and talk about it. All right, let's talk Ioniq infotainment, really Hyundai infotainment. So we can come home here and I can swipe. I have a bunch of really nice buttons. The nice thing is that this looks different than other Hyundais, which is very, very cool. Of course, I get my beloved sounds of nature. I get a couple different sounds I can go through. These are pretty much standard in all Kias and Hyundais these days. And I can scroll through a bunch of things on here, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Blue Link, things like that, but I can go to this EV page. That's going to be the most interesting. Now, of course, we have energy information and battery remaining, range remaining, tons of really cool information, things that I can look at. Eco driving, our carbon dioxide reduction, EV settings, range warning, EV route. It's going to take you on the route that's going to be the best for reserving charge, things like that. So this is unique to the EV Ioniq, which is pretty flippin' sweet. But other than that, pretty standard Hyundai stuff. Let's throw it into reverse here, take a quick look at the backup camera. It does play a backup chime because it is an EV and people can't tell that you are backing up. But as you turn the wheel, the lines turn as well, which is very, very nice. Down below that, I do have some physical buttons. For the radio, very traditional Hyundai/Kia. 2 climate control vents with a hazard switch and the climate controls themselves. Unfortunately, I don't seem to get dual zone. However, I can turn on just the driver climate controls, which is sort of interesting and actually sort of useful if you're trying to save charge here in the Ioniq. Down below, I have 2 12-volt outlets and a USB in. This is for the infotainment system, which it does have wired Apple CarPlay. The next year, 2021, got the wireless Apple CarPlay, but 2020s are stuck with the wired. Then I have a giant center console, and moving up, I have a different center console, more of a command center console with a bunch of interesting things. Off to the left, you'll find the shifter. I have drive, park, reverse, and neutral. And it gets this little hand rest. I guess if you're shifting from drive to reverse to neutral to park to drive to reverse to neutral to park a lot, you can rest your hands so you don't fatigue, I guess. Kind of interesting. And down below that, we have heated seat options, drive mode, auto hold, and power parking brake. And off to the right, I have a wireless charger for your phone, which is fantastic. You kind of slide your phone into it, but again, a little redundant because I don't get wireless CarPlay, so my phone's gonna be plugged in anyway. One thing I just noticed, this is just an iPhone 10. I know I'm a little out of date, but it only fits in when it doesn't have the case on. I had to take my phone case off in order for it to fit, which is a little bit annoying. Then we do get cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Ioniq Electric. However, it fails. But the owner, Ian, actually did put a giant holder in it that does pass, but that is not the factory cup holder here in the Ioniq, so unfortunately, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then I get a little center console and the seats. The seats are heated. However, something interesting is that this Ioniq is actually fully spec'd out. It has all of the options, but up in Canada, they actually get a heated steering wheel and ventilated seats. Us Yankees don't get that. Not sure why, but you can actually get more features up in Canada. Kind of interesting. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2020 Hyundai Ioniq Electric, and a couple of things to note back here. Knee room great, headroom great. I mean, really on par with a lot of other sort of compacts. I don't know what you really want to call this car, but on par with a lot of other cars in this size and at this price point, gasoline, hybrid, electric, whatever it may be. My knees are not hitting the seat in front of me. My head has room. It's getting a little close to the headliner, but to be expected. I do have this little center console I can pull down in the center. I really like that, but that's pretty much it for amenities back here. Nothing too crazy, but I am really impressed with the back seat space, at least in terms of a vehicle like this. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Ioniq. Press and hold here on the key fob, and you can pop it up like that. I do get a really nice privacy cover that is very, very nice, that you can sort of pop back here and it'll slide back. Of course, this is all of Ian's filming equipment, and you get some more storage down there. Very, very nice. This is a hatchback, as you could see. Tons of storage space in the Ioniq, which is fantastic, especially for an electric car. Sometimes the batteries take up a lot of space, whatever. Tons of space back here. Really happy with it. Now we got to talk about the looks, and I actually really like the look of the Ioniq. I think it's different. I think it's unique, and something that always catches my eye is the front grille. You can tell it's the electric one by the front grille, and you see these little 2 panels. Those are actually technically active aero, and what I mean by that is when you're driving around, those panels are closed. However, However, when the battery and electric motor needs more cooling, it will open up those vents to allow some cold, fresh air in to circulate over the battery and electric motor. Overall, I really like the color of this car too. It's a hatchback, which is kind of quirky, and I think overall it's pretty presentable. Is it my favorite car in the world? Not quite, but that's okay. Now let's get to my final thoughts here on the 2020 Hyundai Ioniq Electric. Well, I think this is what we need for EVs. If we really want to say here in America, or really across the world, if we want to double down and say everyone should be driving electric, which I think is a pretty common idea right now, then we need more cars like this here Ioniq. The reason I say that is because this isn't that weird. Yeah, it looks a little bubbly, but driving it, it's just like driving another Hyundai. It's not exciting. It's not mind-bending. And that's good, because I think right now we still have that sort of idea that EVs are these weird, different, strange vehicles, and not everyone wants to drive a weird, strange, different vehicle all the time, or at all spend their money on something that's weird. So we need more cars like this. Ian is a regular dude. He has a fun car too. He's a car enthusiast, but just for getting point A to point B, going to jobs, going to work, this is perfect. It's no frills, it's nothing crazy, but it works, and it's electric. With these gas prices right now, in April of 2022, even I'm looking at electric cars. How can you not?
Traffic light, camera ahead.
Thank you. This car is a snitch, too. It just tattled on the New York Police Department. Thanks, Ioniq, you're a real wingman. So that's it. It's a normal EV, and I think we need more of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Huge thank you to Ian for letting me take out this car. We also filmed his Toyota Sarah just recently, so please go check that video out. He is absolutely awesome for letting me do this on such short notice. Can't thank him enough, and I'm happy to have this car under my belt now. It's so interesting that we don't get these back in Illinois. I'm glad I was able to drive one out here in New York. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.